for me, entrepreneurship has always been the way.
Investing is important because it's the only way you are going to be able to get rich and wealthy for your family. We can close the wealth gap by working together.
Market Monday is the biggest investment show ever.
My life has literally changed since watching EYL.
When you can make people money and you can add value, they're going to be forever indebted to you.
And I promise you this year, I'm going to make y'all even more money.
Disclaimer, do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Let's build our knowledge, our community, and our brokerage accounts. Love is love.
Yeah.
We are back.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Man, how you feeling? Y'all looking regal, royal? Mm-hmm. Where y'all at, man?
Homecoming Morocco. I'm here. Shout out to Morocco. Shout out to Morocco. We in Marrakesh.
Yes. Live from Medina. We are here.
Y'all with Montana? Or
shout out to Frenchie.
Shout out to French. We
World Cup speed. It's a couple people y'all could be with. I'll show speed, you know.
You never know. I appreciate all the traveling mercies. We have made it here safe. Once again, shout out to the continent. New city, new adventure, man. We always up for it.
That's a fact. Shout out to Africa, man. We know we got some things out here, so we're gonna be reporting over the course of the week. Stay tuned to the content.
The rumors are true. That was not AI. Shotty was on a camel. That was real.
You got it. You know what? All jokes aside, can you talk about the importance of the content and tying the message in? Because there's a brilliance in what you're doing. Because it's different if you just post like okay, I posted the S&P chart last night, right? It looks different if you're on a camel doing it.
Yeah. Those are
never missed the opportunity for content. You know, we was on the camel. I'm just like, yo, you know what? Obviously, the market is great day today, so Mike Tyler, let's get some content real quick. Market Mondays, we need to plug Market Mondays. We need to promote because the show always goes on no matter what.
No matter what.
The work. When you're doing your business.
Never miss a moment.
You got Wi-Fi?
Never miss a moment.
If you got Wi-Fi, you got a show, man.
That's a fact.
That's a
biggest lesson from the finals. Every possession and every play is a game-winning play. Apply to your business. Every play, not just the spectacular one. The email, the automation, the SaaS, the follow-up. Every play is a game-winning play.
And another lesson from the finals, and I'm sure we're gonna have a whole breakdown of Blackout. But never let your foot off the gas. That's why there's no emotions. The one thing I like about Jalen, I like a lot of things, but the one thing that I really resonate with Jalen Brunson is that he's emotionless. A lot of those guys are OG. But Jalen, obviously, he's the leader of the team. He's emotionless. They said he hasn't smiled in 3 months. Like he just started to crack us.
After he won.
Yeah, he don't even look comfortable cracking a smile.
He got into that, and it's fitting. He's a Kobe athlete, but he got into that Mamba mode.
He definitely did.
And very fittingly, they made him like the signature athlete of the brand. But all season, he's been kind of stoic in that way. But then when the finals, you kept seeing that is the job done, job done, and it kind of became a mantra for it. Like you could see it, the black hoodie, the do-rag. I'm not answering questions. I'm not
even going to take a picture with the trophy.
Yeah, but that's what I always say. A winner always feels like he's losing, right? And it's like that goes back to the quote. It's not done. I'm not happy. I'm not like, why are you not happy? You just scored 40 points. You up 3-1. You came from the greatest comeback. It's not because it's not.
Job not done.
As soon as you start to feel confident, as soon as you start to smile, as soon as you start. And the Spurs did that literally every single game. They gave up a double-digit lead.
Yeah.
Every single game they gave up a double-digit lead.
I saw the stat.
No, I was gonna say, and you saw the emotion that they displayed after Game 7 of the Western conference finals.
It's too much.
It was very emotional. Like they had felt like they accomplished something.
The Pat Beverly.
It was something very different, right? Shout out to Pat. After round one. After round
that was the playing game.
Playing game.
That
was fact. But the level of composure that the Knicks displayed was completely different, right? Like there was, and even some of them were surprised. If you listen to Cat, just very surprised about how the team had responded to them sweeping Cleveland and getting to the finals. It was like, all right, well, the mission's not done. Mission's not done. And you saw it. That's why that composure came back into all those games. Knicks in 5. Can we just have a moment for the city real quick?
Shout out to New York City on fire. Yeah. Shout out to New York City. I saw the stat that the Spurs were up 72% of the finals and still
lost 4 games.
And that's what Wimby said. Wimby said we dominated the most of this whole thing.
Analytically, they won.
But it applies to trade and investing. When you need a bucket, what's your target you're going to get to guarantee a win? All the cute shit, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Celebrating too early. And like you said, once you hit one financial goal, man, if you don't hurry up and already have that next one in line, you're setting up yourself for ruin already.
Yeah. Hey, what we speak about last week? I said, yo, top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Top 3 what?
I was most clutch. Seeing guys at clutch times in the game. I had Mike, I had Kobe, and I had Jalen Brunson.
But it also
and if you look what he did in a closeout game on the road,
he put up Mike like
45 points, 45 points. Your entire team outside of you scored 49. You scored 45. Mm-hmm. It's just a different level, bro.
50-some%. Like, and I've met Jalen. Jalen 6 feet,
maybe,
bro, with shoes on.
But it also, not to cut you off, Ian.
No, go ahead.
But it also goes back to, once again, all those guys. Emotional. Michael Jordan probably showed a little bit more emotion, but he was still emotionless.
He was stoic.
To tie it into Market Mondays, you can't get too high or too low. Mm-hmm. If you have a great day in the market or a great day trading, it's not the time to just pop bottles and think that you're the smartest person in the history of the world. If you have a bad day in the market, a bad day investing, a bad day trading, it's not the time to be depressed, take all your money out, say that this is a scam, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
But the only way to maintain that is never getting too high. Never getting too high, because never getting too high will protect you from never getting too low. Like, you just got to stay even keel. And also, no matter how bad it gets, you only need a short window to win. So that's the thing. You could have 30 years. A lot of people had 30 bad years, 40 bad years. You only need a couple years. Meek Mill said this before. Only takes a couple years to change your life. You only need a couple years. You could have had 35 consecutive bad years. You only need 2 years to wipe away those 35.
If you spend some good wins together, two good years back to back, not taking your foot off the gas, like you said, keeping the money into the market, your life can change really quick.
The key is this, right? Like, that should be the mentality. How much time does it take to get to that mentality? Like, we've had conversations. I'm super bullish. You're conservative, almost pessimistic to a point. When does it click to say, like, that has to become the mentality? Is it experience over time, or is it just like, I have to understand the market, like how everybody's saying it? Like, how does that happen for the person who's just starting? Because it's not going to be that right away.
But I'm going to be real, if I can say this.
Yeah.
The average person, I don't want you to be average. I want you to be elite. Mm-hmm. You just seen him. He's a freak of nature, but he wasn't able to deliver because he didn't listen to the elders who got the titles. Shout to Tim. But how do you not listen to D-Rob and Duncan, who have been there, who've put banners up?
But that's fair. And I don't know how much you buy into it, but there's also this idea of every great player has to go through this.
That's idiotic.
No, well,
for investors, it's idiotic.
Well, hold on. Find a great player who hasn't gone through it, right? If you look at Mike, if you look at Kobe, if you look at Shaq, if you look at LeBron, it was his team getting swept by the Spurs when he was in his 3rd year. Had to go through that.
He had a trash team too.
Well, I'm just saying you have to go through it, right? Like, they all went through that process in order to figure out, okay, I have to lock a different level to get to ascend to where I want to be, right? So, like, Wemby, now he's been here. It's only year 3. What does he unlock from this, right? So there is part of it. Larry, like, all of them. You could go down the list of the all-time greats, not just average players, the all-time greats. There's there's some of that piece that I have to learn how to win, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, the person who's starting, it's tough to understand that, to be patient.
The person who's starting, you have to learn to listen. The difference with Mike, Mike didn't have Dr. J sitting in the Bulls organization telling them how to win. LeBron, I think, drugged the second worst team in NBA finals to the finals. Iverson being first and being second.
And he also lost as a math.
But from let me ask you this question, right? Ian, from because I think this is what Troy is getting at. Investing, to tie it in, I feel like I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, right? Like, I got burnt a few times. Like, real estate, I learned a very painful lesson with this house that I'm building. And in stocks, I've learned lessons. Crypto, I lost money early in crypto. So in order to be a great or good or whatever in finance, do you have to personally feel, because I could tell you something all day. It's not going to resonate until you personally feel like you lost money. And that money could be relative, whatever. It could be $1,000 to one person, $100,000 to another person. But if you personally get burnt by the stove, you know you're not going to touch it no more. Your parents going to tell you don't touch the stove all day. You touch the stove, you get burnt. Sometimes you need that. Is that something that you went through personally? Have you ever got, burnt by the stove when it comes to investing? And for people that's watching it right now, are there lessons that they're going to have to go through that's painful for them to become a better investor?
I think the hard-headed go through those lessons because it's an act in self-sabotage.
But what if you're not hard-headed? What if you're just uneducated? Right. What if you're not? What if you're uneducated?
In all fairness, right? Because in all fairness, I know what you're saying.
Let me cook.
Go ahead. No, you cook. You cook. And then go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, because I was gonna say, in all fairness, right? Because I could be as educated as I want to be. I could get all the information I want until I experience something and understand and come back from that. The coming back from that part is the piece. Then it really sinks in, right? Like, am I a better investor over the past 3 years than I was 10 years ago? Of course. I've seen some things. I've learned some things. I've experienced some things. I've watched cycles. I've understood cycles, right? I've seen corrections, right? I've seen pullback. All those things have made me better because I've witnessed it and experienced it. Whereas if I'm just, hey, I'm new to this, I haven't really felt that yet. I can hear what people are saying, but I wasn't invested in it.
But sometimes you don't get a second chance at that first opportunity. Like, for example, hypothetically, let's say we did a stock club deal in 2020, and let's say the sale went well, and then Rashad, I didn't send you the money. I could be like, well, I grew up and didn't know to send the money within 14 days. Please forgive me. My upbringing in East Chicago didn't tell me. No, the relationship is dead. It's over with. So I get it. People like to go through those hardships, but like a lot of those lessons I got, like, imagine if Brunson didn't listen to his dad because his dad wasn't a superstar player. Like, and I know when we started the show in 2020, the sentiment was, I wish somebody would unveil the curtain and reveal to us all the secrets that have been hidden, and then they get shown. And now it's like, well, I got to bump my head. I'm like, bro, sometimes you don't get a chance to have the second mistake. We've all made mistakes, not putting enough money into the market, being fearful. I told a story, even like trying to get my family to invest in a family friends round of Facebook and missed out on what that cost me. That was $50-something million I missed out on, not convincing them to put the money up. So we've all been through it,
right?
But sometimes you can't afford, because this is the other part. Like, let's take Wemby. You're assuming that you're going to get back to the finals. You may not get back. You may not get the relationship back. I've seen people fumble relationships with y'all. You're not getting them back. I've seen people fumble relationships with me. You're not getting them back. So treat every possession like it's a game winning. I'm with you all the way to that point. That's the point. It's if we're saying it's the market, it's the getting back. Right? You've experienced something and then you stop. You stop because, hey, I don't want to experience that again. Rather than saying, I experienced that, here's what I learned from that,
here's how I become better when I go back.
I mean, I feel like that's definitely valuable insight, because that's what my mom used to tell me all the time. Smart man learns from his mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So you don't have to go through something. I don't have to smoke crack to know that crack is not beneficial for me. I could visually see the examples from other people. There's so learning from somebody else, learning from somebody that's actually telling you. But sometimes nobody even told you. Sometimes nobody even told you certain things. Like for me, from my instance, I knew a lot about real estate, but what I was going through in that moment, not even I was prepared for it. And we spoke to a bunch of people in real estate. So it was actually kind of unavoidable, because I wasn't even given that particular information.
Advice. Yeah, and I'm with you. Obviously, similar situations. There are a lot of differences, but and we get asked this question a lot. I'm sure you do. Hey, now that you know, would you do this process again? And because you've experienced it and you know all the angles and the details of it,
yeah,
technically you could, right? Because you're now more experienced in it. But now you decide if you want to or not. You see what I'm saying? There's just that piece of like, damn, there's nothing about this process that I don't know any now.
Yeah. Well, I'll say outside of real estate, that's true, but this is why I get criticized for this. You go through them 50 pages a day, save you a lot of headache and heartache, especially in the stock. And if I can be very honest, the stock market is easier than it's ever been.
I like that word.
PE ratio aside, price to sales ratio aside, total addressable market aside, it's easier than ever. It's not like how it was in the 1950s and 60s where the information was hidden and there was a lot of lies. I think the issue we have now is people are not willing to, and you talked about it when you was on the camel, flies, love it. Everyone wants how do I get $1 million or $3 million in a year? Sacrifice. You tell me all the time, Bronson, you spend no money. Yeah, that's why I get on here and talk to you that I do. It feels good to know that the money is tucked away, working for you. S&P hit all-time high today. Ooh. So many things. A bunch of shit in my cart. Won't buy it. Go put it into the market. So if you go through this every day, and just seeing family members and friends and people you grow up with, and this is another thing that we get, you guys are lucky. And I'm like, yes, sacrifices were made. But the other part of luck is doing the work every day.
100%.
Do the work every day.
No days off.
You make your own luck. Well, ladies and gentlemen, do tune in to Wednesday at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. We back. Market Blackout is back at his regularly scheduled program at 9:00 on Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about. UFC debacle situation. It's been a disrespectful week.
Hey, baby boy, when you end up in the river,
it's been a disrespectful week.
You caused it.
We got a few things to talk about.
I heard you.
Wednesday 9:00 Blackout. Thursday at 12:00 we got the brother Carlton Dennis. He high-powered CPA out of San Diego, California, works with high net worth individuals. So you're going to be going over tax strategies and all that. We're a little far in, but Ian, any announcements?
I'll get to a tail end of the show. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Stock Club prices are out. Stock Club replay is out. Every week I'm dropping new prices, etc. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Let's run it up. Red Panda Millionaire, CSH, and the Best Fest. Let's go.
Amen.
Let's talk about investment fact of the week.
I mean, I feel like we got off to such a...
We did it? We did it already?
No. Well, I got another one. In 2025, Fridays were the worst performing day of the week because so many traders were trying to reduce risk. The tariff stuff was there. But over 100 years of data, Friday is actually the most likely day to finish green, being up 54.6% of the time. A lot of you already know my axiom. My favorite days to trade are Mondays and Fridays. The S&P hit an all-time high today. Congrats to those of you who are holding. But if you buy end of day and you roll it over into the next day, opposed to buying at the open, you'll get a higher return. Also, if you end up buying on Fridays instead of Mondays, every week you get a higher return. So 54.6% of the time, Fridays end up in the positive.
Yeah. My fact was actually pretty much our first segment. And I spoke about this in EYLU. I said, we're going to circle June 5th, 2026 as one of those days. And we'll look back and say, what did you do on June 5th, 2026, when the NASDAQ dropped 1,100 points? Most people got scared, right? It's one of those opportunities. Hey, we can actually, find some of these companies that we want at the key points, right? We talk about depreciation. Well, it happened for us on June 5th, like it did April 8th through the 9th last year, 2025. And so the fact for me was enduring volatility isn't the biggest risk in the market. It's not being in the market when it rebounds, hits, when it starts to recover, right? Because people, all right, I'm getting out of it. I'm going to take my gains here, and I'll come back when this is over. Well, how do you know when it's over? Right? Because Sunday announcement happens, and now look at Monday, and you sold 2 weeks ago.
Worrying about fear. You could have been on the camel with Rashad.
See what I'm saying?
On the yacht with Kevin Hart, but you exited early.
Right. Volatility is just part of it. Being in the market is the most important thing, right? Like, obviously, we're going to give you times when we see depreciation at a point where it's, okay, this is a good entry. But it's not, hey, every time I see a downturn, every time I see a pullback, I'm selling. We got to get into that idea of long-term investing. And even if you're doing futures or you're doing options, figure out a strategy that gives you time so that works in your favor.
Yeah, and we don't get them often. Any sub 1,000 point day, please buy. Please buy. Please buy. They don't happen often, but when they do, the turnarounds are amazing.
Okay, so let's go into the moment that everybody's been talking about. Iran war. So Trump, obviously, if you've been following the stock market took a beating last week for a variety of different factors. But one of the key factors was that there was a lot of uncertainty about Iran because a few different things. But Israel started to bomb Lebanon. Iran responded, and in response to that, Trump got on the horn. Trump started to tweet. It started to spike. These things happen every couple of weeks. Then he said he was going to bomb Iran to obliteration. He said he was going to bomb the power plants. He was going to bomb the bridges. He was going to take Cog Island. Then the next day he reversed course on that. He said, "Okay, we're going. We're talking about police. We're going to settle this thing out." Yeah. Then on Sunday he announced officially that a deal was done and that it was officially done. Yeah. Then shortly after that, Israel bombed Lebanon again. Then
he got on the phone with them.
Iran said that no, we can't negotiate in good faith because this isn't. So this thing is getting held on by a piece of thread. But as of now, the peace deal allegedly is done. It's in the works of. Officially, Iran said 60 days, officially being finalized, and the stock market in return rallied very, very strong today.
Yeah, so we got to go from all those things. That's just on the presidential side, right? Geopolitical conflicts. Then from an American standpoint, when we talk about CPI and we talk about PPI, those numbers came in. We still got the Fed chair happening. And so inflation has been all over everybody's mind. Then we're talking about interest rates potentially not being lowered, but there are some analysts that are saying that there might be an interest rate raised by the end of the year. So we saw a lot of, from June 5th on, we saw a recovery last Monday, and then we saw volatility throughout of all last week. Obviously, everything that you just mentioned. To get back here Monday, again, being in volatile environments shouldn't scare you, shouldn't surprise you. It actually should say, okay, we need this. Here's where we're going to rebound, and here's how we're going to come back from it.
I want to be very honest. I don't think this peace deal may last. But the most important thing that you need to do as an investor is make sure that you make a deal with yourself to hold for 5 years. Regardless of what happens in Iran, the conflict, the Fed chair, etc., the easiest way to ride out these conflicts is to make no adjustments to your portfolio and continue holding for the long term. So the interesting part about this administration is that they often change plans on the fly. So I hope that this peace deal remains. Costly war if it ends here. I hope that it does. But like you said, it's hanging on by a thread. I hope that it does stay. But the most important thing for you to do as an investor is to not change your plan. Buy the highest quality companies. Know when the worst months are. I stated last week that the market doesn't usually peak in June. We had a pullback. Great opportunity to buy. Negative 1,000-point day. For my futures traders, you should have made a killing. For my long-term investors, you should have made a killing on the buy. Continue to hold through the rest of the year. July should be rough. September may be rough, but if you are holding for long periods of time, everything is a-okay.
Yeah. Why do you hold me? Ask you a question. Why do you think that the peace treaty is not going to last?
Just if you look at the decision-making matrix, if you go into ChatGPT, and that's a great part about having like a preponderance of evidence from both sides, this isn't the most, going back to your point early, even keel administration. So I pray that it does, but it just feels like the real powers that be that are behind the scenes doesn't want to have peace. So I'm wondering if he's going to be swayed.
Well, there's definitely people that don't want to have peace, for sure.
It's a layer combo. Yeah,
for sure. Do you think that Trump has enough wherewithal to block out that and stay the course? Because I think that Iran wants to do a deal with America.
I think so.
And I think that America leadership, Donald Trump, wants to do a deal with Iran. I think those two entities want to do a deal with each other. They're outside forces, though.
The parent company.
The parent company is crazy.
The parent company of the parent company of the companies.
That's the part that worries me. It's like, okay, we want, like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan didn't have issues. It was Vince that would make them have issues, right? So my concern is, will they puppeteer, no pun intended, and make sure that a deal gets
signed? So that's the date is the 19th for it to be signed. This is the interesting part, and it kind of dawned on me last night. We were here early March saying that this couldn't go on too long. By April, it should be over, based on where gas was headed and how much crude oil was going, appreciating in pricing. And then April hit, and we were still there. And then mid-March, I looked at Polymarket. This is crazy. And the percentages of how long it would last, the peak percentage was by June 30th, that there was 70% chance that it'd be done. The next highest percentage was Flag Day, right? Which was June 14th. That was yesterday. Yesterday was also down, to 47. It was his birthday. In his maniacal mind, somehow I feel like he was waiting for a moment. He was having the big celebratory event at the White House with that MMA brand, and wanted to make it a moment. And then you had some outside entities that kind of interfered with that rollout of it by continuously bombing. But I feel like maybe, right, somebody's giving that type of feedback for somebody from a prediction market side.
For sure.
How do we even go out to that point? How do we know that it's going to be in between these dates? There's some type of insider stuff going on, in my opinion, allegedly. But that's interesting. And then I saw I don't know if you saw some of those reports about what was happening at the event, how some in the party were trying to get inside information about the actual fights. And so it goes back to this idea of, look, they're going to sway, maneuver, manipulate, allegedly think in their favor, so they can benefit at the highest point.
I agree. But like Rashad, like you said, I think they both want to come to an agreement, but sometimes you get drugged into things. And I know it's a layered conversation, so I won't stay here too long. I just wonder if the chairman of the parent company allows that to happen. That's my only concern.
I mean,
well, my mind, soul, liver, but let me talk about. Let's talk about.
Trade is open, toll free, right?
SpaceX. Okay.
The IPO.
Yes.
the aftermath. We talked about it last week as before. Now we're in the aftermath phase. So it was up $20 today. IPO'd at $2.2 trillion, currently almost at $2.4 trillion.
Yeah.
So just from a perspective standpoint, right? It took the first $1 trillion company, which was NVIDIA, I believe.
Apple hit it first, yeah.
From the inception of the stock market to a few years ago, right? Almost 100 years to reach $1 trillion. And all of the trials and tribulations that had come with the stock market, from the Great Recession, the Great Depression, 1999, 1984, all of these different things. And, it took almost 100 years for one company to reach $1 trillion. And Apple had been a publicly traded company for over 25 years when that actually happened. SpaceX, on his first day of a publicly traded company, became double, triple, almost that, right? Double platinum.
Worth
double
more than
trillion,
Canada.
$2 trillion. First day of trading with $18 billion of revenue. What does it say about the market that we're in right now? And what is the long-term trajectory of SpaceX? Is it going to be $500 next year? Should you be shorting this stock because it's going to come down within the next 6 months? What should investors be looking for as far as price trajectory for SpaceX? And what does it coming in at $2 trillion say? $2 trillion with $18 billion of revenue. What does that say?
I think it shows the power of venture capital and private markets. Power with a one-of-a-kind CEO. Is the valuation high? Yes. But that's the game that we're in. I remember when Airbnb was valued at what it was valued at before it went public, and everyone had issues with it, and then it grew 10x from there. So the pipeline from angel to venture, I think, has become even more powerful than it has been. And I think a lot of people in that space saw what Keel was able to do, and they want to usurp him and be able to do the same thing. As far as should you short it, I got this question a lot over the last few days. Even though I know the price is going to contract and come down within the next 6 months, I think it is a mistake to short the stock, especially these first 4 or 5 weeks. You're going against tailwinds that are so strong. If you're shorting the stock, you're saying my $50,000 in options is worth more than the billions that are slushing in from funds, fund of funds, hedge funds, 401ks, and it's not. Also, too, you got to look at the prospectus. I did a breakdown on this in Stock Club. But SpaceX is, and I said before that at some point he's going to leave Tesla, and this is going to be the company in Starlink that he focuses on. But if you look at what they said in the prospectus, the value or total addressable market is $26.5 trillion from AI. Not rockets. $760 billion in consumer subscriptions from Starlink and $600 billion in digital advertising. This is a rocket company wrapper. This is really an AI company. So if you, because it's even in how it went public, it's not classified in that same space the Bone would be in, which I think is brilliant. You get the branding of rocket propulsion, lunar economy, orbit economy, but it's really an AI company. Also, too, we have to remember he wants his revenge from Sam Altman because I helped you organize over there at OpenAI. So this is his grand FU to Sam while destroying his career and reputation. The valuation is high, but for the way that it's been planned, you have to give him credit. It's absolutely brilliant. Even the lockup period, and to make sure that the price doesn't float down below a certain level. Can't argue with it. It's the environment that we're in right now.
So what's the price prediction?
If you want to know the price of where SpaceX will fall to, go to ianinvest.com. Please. And I'll tell you. But will it go to 500? For sure. Will it have a deep pullback? For sure. But the mechanisms in which he will make sure that the price stays afloat these first 3 or 4 months is nefarious but brilliant. Hopefully,
It's a $1 trillion opportunity. I'll just be frank with you. It's a $1 trillion industry. And when you think about the AI components, and I've said this here plenty of times about Google's idea really to have data centers go out to space in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of cooling, in terms of space, like room that you have right here. When we build data centers, it actually has to take up land, infinite space, obviously in orbit. And they have a 90% market share. Like, think about that.
In which space? No pun intended.
In the lunar economy, right? A 90% market share in terms of who gets to go out there and who doesn't. They're so far ahead of, I don't even know who number 2 is.
So it's like space redlining.
Right. Like we can't, if there's not a clear number 2. And we know that this is number 1. Yeah. And they're going to be number 1 for a while, like I said, with that margin of space in between whoever's next. You take into account the fact that they have the XAI piece, the Starlink piece. This is where IPO, yes, the valuation is high. Is this where it stops? No. This will be a company, like you said, 450 to 475 within the next 2 to 3 years. I can see that happening easily. Yeah. I think what was interesting, this IPO, and I know a lot of people, I put it in EY University, were like, hey, we don't touch IPOs. We don't touch IPOs, which is true. Based on everything that we say, this is true. I think what was interesting with this one, I was like, this is new. I've never seen a pre-IPO on a brokerage, right? So I know a few brokerages, Robinhood allowed you to do it. E-Trade allowed you to do it. And there were some brokerages that didn't allow you to do it. So I'm going to walk you through the process because I did end up with shares of SpaceX, right? It wasn't like guaranteed, but they took you through a process, an application to even be part of that pre-market IPO from the brokerage accounts. You have to fill out like an investor form. You have to tell them your net worth. They already can see your portfolio. And so they're kind of selecting who gets to have shares at 135. Now we know by the time the public actually gets it, if you didn't do it pre, you're going to buy it at the 160. I think it got up to 171 at one point on Friday, pulled back to 169. So the people who had the pre IPO from the brokerage, they get locked in at 135. I put in a request in for it. I put 300 shares. Let's just see if we can get them. I got 85. I had a friend of mine who requested 7,000 shares and got 500. I had people who put up 100, requested 100 shares and got 1. One, right? And they got filled at 1. And so the rhyme or reason of what the allocation was, we don't know, but it was very interesting. I said, let me just participate so I can at least tell people what this is like, because this is very new. This is something that Vlad Tenev had told us about maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, about what if the average person could have access to a company before it went public, right? So yes, obviously it went public Friday, but I think the application started maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks prior to that, with Robinhood saying, hey, put your limit on. They actually asked you for your limit on what's the that you would like to pay. And so most people put 135 and got filled. But now people have shares that appreciated 19, 20, 25% in a day. Look at it as an investment. We're not looking at how we're going to short this or how we're going to.
That's a disaster move right now.
The first thought I had was, we always talk about this. Hey, if you would have spent $1,000 on this company 10 years later, this is how much it would be worth. $10,000 with a company 10 years, 20 years later, this is how much it would be worth. Well, this felt like almost an opportunity to really test that in real time, right? So we're going to hold these shares. And in 5, 10 years, let's see how much they're worth, right? If they pull back, great. Do I think this is a company that's going to be here and going to be a leader in their space? For sure. Will it be a part of the dominant AI, outer space, lunar economy? For sure, right? It almost felt like when I was talking about TSM and their market dominance, how will everything run if they don't do their job? And so it almost feels like SpaceX has that tendency with if they don't function, how will the rest of that sector move? I feel like they have that level of dominance.
And two things can be true for those who, let's say, are naysayers. And like, even if you look at the prospectus, they said that we have the largest actionable total addressable market in human history. Okay.
Everybody.
370 billion in space, 1.6 trillion in connectivity, 870 in Starlink. Even if the lunar economy thing is pure bullshit, price discovery is going to be so strong, and the marketing and branding of this has been planned for so long. that the market can be irrational for a long time and drive it to 1,000 because everyone is hunting for high gains. This is not the intelligent investor market, Ben Graham formula market anymore. That market, and it probably won't reset to that until we have some kind of economic pullback in the stock market. So I have a couple of things that I don't like in the prospectus, but in terms of the value of the company, Elon is always going to be a chimera. It's the company, same with Tesla, it's going to start as one thing and is going to continuously evolve into something else.
There's that part where it's right before IPOs where he says it's not just about us going to Mars, it's about you. Yeah, the person that's listening to this right now is we want to put you on Mars. Are we there in the next 5 to 10 years? I don't know if that happens. But if you listen to Jensen, if you listen to Sundar Pichai from Google, if you listen to Patella from Microsoft, if you listen to Sam Altman, if you listen to Amadei from Anthropic, space is coming.
Power through Starlink.
Power through having satellites, having data centers, that is going to happen, right? And they're all preparing for it. So if you think it's nonsense, if you're a naysayer about it, go listen to what some of those CEOs from all those compute and infrastructure companies are saying about where this is headed. They all are pointing to that at some point. They will have data centers. They will be powered by solar, power from the sun, and they will exist out there, and it will be more energy efficient. That is going to happen, whether that happens in 10 years or it happens in 5, it will happen.
And then, my last point, Shadi, real quick. The advantage that he has is that he built the most important part in advance, which was the connectivity part. So even if you think the lunar economy thing is a farce, Starlink probably, I've always said, I think is the greatest company in his portfolio and probably is one of the best communication companies there is. So even if the rest of the lunar economy stuff isn't true, every data center on Earth is going to have to partner with him for the connectivity for the data centers. He has an edge there.
That's an addressable market, right?
And three things can actually be true. And one thing is obviously he's a trillionaire, so no matter how you feel about Elon Musk, he's accomplished something that is kind of astronomical in the realm of thinking. The next richest person in the world is worth $200 million on paper.
Sergey, right?
Larry Ellison.
Okay,
$200 billion
on paper.
On paper,
like 260 something.
But even more impressive than that is that, with this IPO, 4,000 employees became millionaires. And even more impressive than that is 400 people in the company became 100 millionaires.
That's the feat.
Yeah, 400. He made 400 people millionaires. 400 people, 100 millionaires. 4,000 people millionaires. Well, one thing about Elon also is that he's very good at selling things. Because Tesla should not be valued at the valuation that it is now.
But because of him,
I mean, it is what it is. He's good at saying, okay, this is what's going to happen. The whole world is going to be forced to drive electric vehicles. Then Donald Trump says electric cars is a scam. The whole world is going to be forced to buy humanoid robots. Now
autonomous vehicles.
Now it's the whole world.
And the taxi service.
It's rolling out.
He's where he's been working on potential for a long time. And this is still, no matter how you slice it, still potential. 18 million in revenue is 18 million in revenue. No matter how he's saying future guidance and what potentially could happen, billion. 18 billion is still 18 billion. Whether it's future guidance, whether it's potential was going to happen, but anything could happen. Anything could happen. Elizabeth Warren could become president and say, everything is done. We're not doing in space. We're going to cut all of these contracts. Anything could happen. Most people are judged on what they're currently doing in this moment. Elon Musk is given the benefit of the doubt of what could potentially happen in the future.
In 15 years.
Whether that's right or wrong, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong or not, because Wall Street has priced it in and it doesn't look like it's going to change. Like I said, they've already done it with Tesla and they're doing it now with SpaceX. So, but
both $1 trillion companies.
But it is what it is. $18 billion in revenue never equals $2.2 trillion in the stock market. It has never done, ever, never. And it will never happen again. But for Elon Musk, it did happen.
There's the last piece on this for me is and Ian, you kind of alluded to it, the wind that is pushing this. There's some key events that are happening. Obviously, the IPO was the first thing. Options trading will begin tomorrow.
Yeah,
on SpaceX. Now, we've talked about brokerages and how much money they are being brought. It's not from people buying shares. If you ask Charles Schwab, if you ask advisors from Robinhood or E-Trade, it's the options trading. That's going to start this week. At the end of next week, they'll have double leverage ETFs with SpaceX. Okay, right.
I was asking
in
about
a month.
Triple.
It's going to be added. Right? It's going to be added to the NASDAQ 100. Right. In 3 months, it potentially could be added to the S&P. Like, that is all the wind that is about to push this stock.
Yeah, and you can say it's not fair, which you can agree.
That's fair. Okay.
But also too, the pipeline from angel to venture to the selection of bank to this inclusion, nefarious or not, he has found, talking about building a moat, he has found a way for, like you said, Rashad, it's less than the 1% ratio, revenue earned versus valuation, but he's found a moat to almost make this thing become a reality regardless of price discovery.
Yeah.
Like the P ratio also highest in history.
Part of being a salesman is not selling a product that you have. Okay, I hate to bring religion into this, but the biggest sale of all time is religion, because I'm not saying that it's a bad thing.
Okay.
But people
I
are
just thought 50 Cent.
People are dedicating their life based off of future results that are not technically proven in this moment, right? Heaven. And that's any religion. Any religion, the ultimate goal is to do enough good on earth so that you can reap the rewards later on in heaven, right? So Elon Musk, any good salesman, a good salesman can sell you what he has here. I have a bottle of water that's going to quench your thirst. Set value is worth $2. That's a good salesman. A great salesman will sell you what you don't even see, what technically you might not even need in the moment. But you're willing to pay an exorbitant amount for it because it's sold to you for the benefit. You know what this is worth in the moment. I don't know what an unlimited amount of water will be worth 10 years from now. There could be a drought. There could be no more water on Earth. What would you pay? What would you pay for unlimited amount of water if you knew that there would be no water in 10 years? You would pay everything.
Can't live without that.
Right? Yeah. So like I said, that's a key in business. Elon Musk is a great salesman because he's selling things that you don't even have right in present.
Yeah. Like I said, the last thing you made me think of it just now, the 18 billion. We'll see what the number really is, because there's a bunch of people saying that's completely inaccurate. The number's close to 100 billion, but we'll see, because now that they're a publicly traded company,
you got to disclose
in 90 days. We'll see what those first quarter. Yeah, we can't just say it estimate in 90 days. So from June 12th, that would give us till September, maybe late September, early October. SpaceX will be reporting, and we'll be watching very, very closely.
Even if it was 200 billion, it would still it would still be.
But now we don't have to guess.
It would still be tremendously unproportional based off of historical data of what currently has happened for any company to be worth $2 trillion with $200 billion in revenue.
This is the first company that's ever IPO'd at these type of numbers.
For sure. And we saw it when Kathy was the biggest advocate for it. The crazy part, people watched that playbook, tore her career down, and it's a bunch of investors who are going to raise the price of SpaceX regardless of valuation. Let's say the number is 200. They're going to say they estimated it was 18. We're at 200 billion. Look where we'll be in 5 years. They did the same thing with Tesla.
It goes to your point of the marketing. I'm going to tell you 18 the whole time we making 200. Look how much further ahead we are than we said you thought we were.
The only thing about that is that even a great
scammer. For
sure. I'm not calling him a scammer, but I'm saying even a great one, the gig turns up eventually.
At one,
Bernie Madoff had a great run, but eventually the gig was up. So it's only so long that you can
at the level he's at. Does it like one two?
It's only so long.
Yeah, I don't
before you actually got to produce something.
Well,
you can't run off.
This is true.
You can't run off of future valuations forever.
But you are producing.
Well, the smart thing that he did, which because I kept saying, well, I wish he would take Starlink public, and then
it is now.
He's running the greatest ring around the rosy in history. You create a car. Well, you don't create. You take a car company,
just a Twitter acquisition, and rolling this shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you take a car company with the idea that this is going to be the future. This looks like that's kind of shaky on shaky grounds. Then you pivot to a solar company. Then you pivot to a robotic company. Then you pay way more for a media company to use your platform to determine the next president. Then you have the president in your back pocket, allegedly. Then you start a satellite company. Then you roll your companies together. Then you spend
that sounds like but like
this
you're saying
that's the real rolling force.
Yeah, is that not like a plan that's thought out 30 years ahead?
He's obviously a smart,
he's super and has great counsel and great advice. But the rolling from Twitter over into XAI,
exactly.
Just the engine.
If you know where AI is going, and you know you don't have a platform, you go take a platform, you now turn that into your new LLM, right? A platform for yourself.
Yeah.
Right now you're in the space, you're making data centers. He has his hand in pretty much the AI economy for sure.
All this is Sam Altman's fault.
Economy for sure. And I guess kind of in robotics and automation, he's in all of them.
If him and Sam could have worked out an agreement, and this is the part about, because let's be honest now. He wanted nothing to do with OpenAI when it was a non-profit organization because he didn't think the value was there. Then Sam got hot. Sam snaked him allegedly. And then now you want revenge, and he got revenge at the highest scale. And now you're doing it on the enterprise side, which is way more valuable than the consumer side. But
here's the question. Does he buy Twitter if he doesn't know what OpenAI could potentially be?
Absolutely.
You think he buys Twitter anyway?
He brought Twitter to win the election.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did.
I'm thinking if he knows what the capabilities of AI, obviously being super close to it, thinking that it's going to be non-for-profit, but seeing the direction it starts to head, knowing that he can use that user base and now have a large language model to add to that.
I think that was an afterthought once he got fucked by Sam.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody thinks that Elon Musk would start a company for it to be nonprofit. He's mad that he didn't have the opportunity to take it from nonprofit to profit. Everything he does is for profit. Why would he change now?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm agreeing with what you're saying. I'm saying once he sees that,
and it's a great lesson too. If someone betrays you in business, Sam didn't calculate all the counter moves. He like in 2022. Sam was being set up to be at least on par with Steve and Bill from a propaganda standpoint.
Great innovator.
Elon killed all that. Be careful of the enemies that you make along the way.
That's the fact.
Yeah, he didn't. It's like he didn't want to be number one in the large language model race. He understood very clearly that at the time, OpenAI was number one. You had Anthropic probably number two. Gemini was three.
And talent. Yep.
Yeah, and they just were mentioned in it, and it's almost, they're probably in that same space now where they're just mentioned. But look at the partnerships that XAI has made. Mm-hmm. The Meta partnership, they're making strategic partnerships as well.
But Trell sometimes is a great motivator.
You can see what's ahead.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let us know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. I want to say thank you to Serena Williams. We announced it today that she will be headlining InvestFest. Official press release announcement went out today. Serena Williams, the greatest tennis player of all time, the greatest female athlete of all time.
For sure.
Arguably,
you can argue
one of the top 5 greatest athletes of all time, men and women.
Yeah,
26 Grand Slam titles, and even more impressive, you could say, is 14 unicorns under her investment portfolio. She's had a VC fund less than a decade and has 14. There's people that have VC funds for 50 years.
Don't have two. Yeah.
And counting.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, and half of those companies in her portfolio are women or other diverse communities outside of white men.
Mm-hmm.
So she's giving people opportunities that wouldn't traditionally get opportunities. We know that white men get 97% of venture capital funding. So Serena Williams, the first woman to ever headline InvestFest.
Incredible.
An absolute legend in 2 games. Somebody that's been a child prodigy since 14 years old and actually lived up to the hype. And somebody that recently came back to tennis, historic comeback. She's back.
Mm-hmm.
She's back playing. So it's just the stars aligned for that situation. So want to thank Olivia, want to thank Serena, want to thank her whole team for, taking the time out of her schedule. This is 4 years in the making. And we tried to get her 4 years in a row. And it just, it didn't work out in those particular years, but this is the year.
Yeah.
So this is this is big. This is big for InvestFest. This is big for Atlanta. This is big for entrepreneurship.
For sure.
You don't really get somebody like Serena just on a whim. So want to take the time to publicly thank Serena Williams for coming to InvestFest. This is going to be another moment in history.
Yeah, I think that 4 years piece speaks to a lot about just nourishing and fostering relationships in a positive way. I remember, I think we still have the email from 2022 when we had reached out, and she didn't have to, but she sent an email to us, like directly from her, saying how much she loves the platform and loves what we do. It's just a scheduling conflict. And I still kept that email. I'm like, wow, that's amazing that somebody of her stature and what she's done in the world of sports and obviously what she's done in business understands what we're doing, understands what's at stake for the mission that we're on, and would love to do it. And so we just kept fostering that relationship, nourishing it. And now the moment is here, man. The moment is here. I'm excited for everybody to see it. My mother-in-law is going crazy right now. She's a huge Serena fan. Mm-hmm. We just did a sit down with shout out to Nessa in Hot 97. Yeah. She said, forget women. She's the greatest athlete.
She's up there.
Period.
She's up there, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
So I want to publicly thank her, and I also want to publicly thank T.I. for this is the first year that we transitioned, and we're doing black tie affair for VIP night. It's at a different location. We completely changed the whole VIP experience, and we're honoring a few people. Mm-hmm. But the first person to be honored in the inaugural InvestFest VIP night black tie gala legacy award is T.I. And that's big. The city of Atlanta. This is 20 years of the King album and 20 years of the ATL movie. So it's a few different things that go into this, but man, 2 decades, longer than that, because trap music came out probably 25 years ago. So yeah, almost 3 decades in, somebody that just constantly reinvents himself. I saw him perform at Roots Picnic. He could go at least an hour and a half of just hits, an hour and a half at least of just hits. Then you got the movies, then you got the fashion line, then he got a lot of artists. He signed Meek Mill early.
Yeah.
B.O.B.
Travis.
Man,
he was with
Travis Scott, Iggy Azalea.
He was a phone call away from having Drake on the label as well.
Yeah. So. Man, this is going to be big, man. And like I said, the other person that we got too is going to be unfair. Yeah. It's unfair, actually, what we got to do to Atlanta. So, city of Atlanta, oh man, black tie affair, T.I. will be in the building. It's going to be a special night. So, sometimes in life you got to think, because neither one of these people had to do it. T.I. didn't have to, he's come to a bunch of InvestFests, but we asked him. And he's like, yeah, for sure. That's easy. Like, he's like, I appreciate you even thinking about me, honoring me. Like, I really appreciate it. So, and Serena, like I said, that's, so sometimes in life you gotta appreciate people publicly,
for sure,
and thank them, because nobody's obligated to do anything.
Yeah.
And for them to take time out of their schedule means a lot to us. We're thankful for everybody that comes to InvestFest. We're thankful for 19 Keys. We're thankful for Ian Dunlap. We're thankful to Steve Harvey. We're thankful for, you name it. Yeah. But I just wanted to highlight those two people because Serena's headlining this year. Mm-hmm. T.I. is getting the first award ever so T.I. really helped spearhead this whole black tie thing because we needed somebody. And the first person we approached, within one conversation, he said, yes, no problem. Mm-hmm. It wasn't talk to my manager. It wasn't let me see. It wasn't, I'll send you my rider and then we can negotiate from there. It's, if you need me, I'm there, no problem. Yeah. And I actually am thankful that you even thought about me for this.
Yeah. Another relationship. I think we met him in 2021, shooting an episode in the Trap House Museum, and has stayed in contact with him. Like you said, he's done a number of things for us. We've had a number of conversations that had nothing to do with, being honored, but just as men. Building with each other. I've had Zoom calls with him and his family about investing. Yeah. Just a solid dude. And I mean, we're honored that we actually have a platform to honor somebody like him, man. So shout out to Tip.
More importantly,
A-Town legend.
Yeah. More importantly, I want to give y'all credit for stick-to-itiveness because I know how long it took for this to come together. Even the Magic Johnson last year, like for those who don't know, like they're working on this for years. I remember when the idea of Magic first came up, that was when I was in Mexico. I almost fell off the boat. That was 4 years ago?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a
so
fact.
Just to keep and it's a great lesson too. When something doesn't go your way, you have to stay patient and stay helpful. A lot of people blow the opportunity. Why don't you want to do it this year? Be patient, be helpful. Everything will work out, but play long-term games. Even in this business, they're not selling it after 1 year. I'm telling you, there's value in building things and holding them for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
And while we thanking people publicly, because it all comes back to relationships. And like I said, at some point, we're going to really give a whole manifesto on relationships because it's the most important part of any situation. I want to publicly thank Terrence J because he's actually the one that really is the bridge for T.I. Mm-hmm. And he's the one that actually had reached out to T.I. on our behalf and put me on his phone. He called T.I. and put me on a 3-way with him. Terrence J has been tremendously helpful. He actually also got us Anthony Anderson this year, who officiated his wedding, and T.I. was responsible for getting us 50 Cent, amongst other things. Early when we first got Lala was coming back this year. It was T.I. It was Terrence. Yeah. So Terrence, he's one of these people that's a great connector, and like I said, this is just a principle of it's a principle of just life. Relationships is going to be the key to your success. And he's definitely been a very helpful person. And this year has been no different than every other year. And he's also somebody that never really asks for anything. Just like, if you need me, but how can I be of help? How can I be of service? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see, like, he'll be more excited about InvestFest than me sometimes. Like, he'd be like, yo, what we getting this year? Like, that 50 Cent thing, like, we was down to the wire. Yeah, like, I was talking to him every single day. I talked to him every single day. Every single day. I'm like, yo, we need a headliner, bro. You know, he's like, yo, I'm work. Let me work. So
that was crazy.
He was like,
it went fly to Miami right now.
Yeah, I remember Trey called me like, hey, I'm going to Miami. I'm like, we got it. I'm like,
so I just wanted to take a moment just to kind of say that because, like I said, I know we talk about relationships a lot, but I feel like when we give real world examples, sometimes it can kind of just illustrate it even better. So get the tickets to InvestFest so you can make your relationships. August 7th through August 9th, investfest.com. Let's talk about the Earth and Strategic Metals ETF, REMX. Obviously that's something that's been in the news a lot as far as Earth and strategic metals. When you talk about China, when you're talking about Russia, and in a year it was 52-week low was $38, 52-week high was $111. So it's actually skyrocketed. And is this something that investors should have in their portfolio? Should they invest in it? Should they have it on their watch list? Like, what's the deal with this one?
I think you should definitely have it on your watch list because there's a lot of potential there. Once again, if you are going to invest in it, hold it for a long period of time. I'm starting to get ETF fatigue. I'm not going to lie. So the thing I want to say is, okay, it's great to have it, but now, and I'm sure you've seen it too, I'm now getting people approaching me and they have 9 ETFs. And I'm like, you don't need that much overlap. I get now, if you have bigger dollar amounts, I get it maybe. So as far as this one, I do like put it on your watch list. But be careful, because now the concentration in the market is so high that there are more ETFs available than publicly traded stocks. And this has become the other hustle, for lack of better terms, for the industry to keep the liquidity in the market. So I like it. Put on your watch list. Hold on. But we are getting to a mass inflection point of too many ETFs and ETF fatigue at scale.
Well, let me. Isn't that a good thing? Because if it's like, if there's too many, then that means that there's options. That means that there's options, right? It's because there's two, for instance, let me just finish. This 5,000 stocks, right? Mm-hmm. We know that there's probably 100 out of those 5,000 that is good. But now that gives you options. So now you can say, okay, where if there was only 30 ETFs and 19 of them were bad, the more options you have available to you, the more you can make educated decisions based off of your risk tolerance and what you want to invest in, and say, okay, these are all my criteria. I want this one.
Troy, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, only because I sat down with a few people and went through their portfolios. And as I'm combing through the portfolio, I'm seeing ETFs and I'm seeing indexes, and I'm like, okay, they at least somebody told them, let's start there. And then they had some singular equities. And I started asking, do you know what this ETF is? No. Okay. Well, do you know what's inside this ETF? No. I mean, like the holdings, you know what it has inside? No. So how did we get to this? Oh, I saw it somewhere. Somebody said something.
That's their fault. Not doing the research.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? All ETFs are not created equal.
Facts. And ETF issuers are not created equal.
That was the second part, bro. All ETF issuers are not created equal. And so one of the things, especially when I early on, I would tell people, if you're going to get an ETF, which I agree with is a great route, if you're not sure what to invest in, if you like a sector, look at its holdings, right? See what companies in there, but also look at the history of the ETF. How long has it been in existence?
Yep. How's it performed?
How has it performed? How has it been managed? Even me, like I hadn't checked SMH. Like I have it in the portfolio because I've always had SMH in the portfolio, right? I went back and looked at SMH while I was on the phone call, and I didn't realize how much NVIDIA had come down.
Yeah. In terms of allocation. Yeah.
Right. It used to be a 20% weighted inside of that ETF. It's at like 12 now.
Yeah.
Right. And TSM is in there and it's at 11, and Micron's in there, and it's the fourth largest allocation. And so that's being actively managed because of how those stocks are performing.
How long should an ETF be in existence before you invest in?
So when I looked at, I started originally only doing spider funds.
Rule of thumb.
Minimum 5.
5 years?
That's minimum 5. Ideally
here's the thing. It's I would like it to have 5 to 10 years. Spider funds.
5 to 10 years.
I would like it to have that.
How long?
Hold on. Let me finish. I would like it to have 5 to 10. Spider has 20. Somebody's gonna say, but Troy, you told us about DRAM, and that is not even 3 months. And that's where it gets, okay, that is true, but that becomes sector specific. Why do we recommend that ETF? Because at the price point for the equities that are in there, number one, you can't buy Samsung publicly traded in America. You can't buy SK Hynix publicly traded in America. And at the price that Micron's at, I'm not sure if a person's going to say, let me spend $1,100 on one share right now. Today, and they're definitely not doing it for SanDisk, which crosses over 2,100. And so when an ETF and Round Hill, again, an issuer that's respected and reputable, issues a subsector, because I would say semiconductors is a sector, memory is a subsector inside of there. When they issue someone that's that specific for an area of concentration that is in high demand and is going to continue to be that way, then that's when I say, okay, that one was just created
to the rule.
This has some opportunity. There's an exception.
Every rule has an exception.
This is one.
There's no rule in life
that doesn't have an exception.
That doesn't have an exception.
Yeah.
Think about it. There's not one rule in life.
We're saying rule, not law. Rule.
Okay.
There's no law that doesn't have an exception. There's no law that does not have an exception. You could be a murder charge if somebody breaks into your home and now you self-defending yourself. There's no, somebody beat a murder charge because they was sleepwalking. They said they wasn't even in their right mind. There's no law rule in life
It doesn't have an exception.
that doesn't have an exception.
Yeah.
My brain is fried. I can't.
But back to your point of so many options, I'm gonna be very honest.
But I just wanted to say that because the same thing is true with investing. No matter, you could say, don't buy high, don't do this, don't invest.
No, that's true.
But even to that point, even if you bought at every all-time high, if you waited 5 years, the return on investment was still higher than when you bought it at the low case basis. And some investors can make an argument you should buy at a high. So I agree. 1,000.
Here's the point. Here's the part, though, Ian. Here's the part. We gotta let the people know, because we said each ETF is not created equal. Mm-hmm. Each insurer is not equal. But here's the most important part. The volume in those ETFs are not equal.
At all.
And that's the part where I'm like, if you create 10,000 ETFs, who's getting the value?
Because everyone always compares price. But the thing you have to really compare is the liquidity in them. And if something happens, because you can get a low float ETF, it may not move while the underlying asset is there are a bunch of ETFs that have paired some things together, and it's not reflective of the price. The other part is everyone who's making an ETF is not doing so because they love you and they're just trying to get an edge to have a certain amount of dollars under management. Like even me, I've got offered 4 or 5 times to put together an ETF, but I'm like, if it goes against my core belief of what I'm currently investing in, I can't do it at this moment. I can't do it. Some people, well, you can make this. It's like, it doesn't matter what I can make. The integrity part matters a lot. But I know if they were coming to me, they were coming to 6,000 or 7,000 other people across the world to put an ETF together. Liquidity matters. Length of time that it's been around, the allocation, the rotation. There's a lot of factors that matter. And also too, just because it's available, like one queen is worth 100 core gestures. It's a bunch of ETFs that people are in. If they would have just bought the Vanguard equivalent, they would be up 15% more. You got to do your research, though.
That's the part, because when a seasoned investor realizes, hey, Vanguard offers that ETF, or BlackRock offers that ETF, right, in iShares, or Spider, State Street, they offer it. When you hear this, it's like, oh, well, who is that, right? And so the volume, a large portion of the time, is going to go to those ones that have been established. Sure. Now, Round Hill, again, is established, but that's why a couple of weeks ago when we had the exec from BlackRock, I'm like, I know they're watching what Round Hill did
for sure,
right? That, I mean, you're talking about $1 billion under management in less than 30 days, 45 days?
Yeah,
the fastest in history. They have to be watching that. I'm sure there's a bunch of issuers that are saying, how do we do that?
And they're going to wait till there's a certain pullback, because Round Hill was genius to catch it while the price was flying up and there was nowhere else. It was like when you couldn't find a certain car and it was charging 100,000 above, but one dealer had that car.
They got ahead.
Yeah, they found a way to play the price disparity. So
now they did a new one for the Max 7 that just got issued like 2 weeks ago, brand new. So it's like new. There's just constant ETFs after ETFs that are coming on board. Just be mindful, be careful, take all that education and make a wise decision.
Ian, what's your thoughts on restaurant companies for investments, and what are some investments and restaurant companies you would invest in?
The sector is really tough overall. If I had to pick one conglomerate, I would probably lean on Yum Brands. Not the healthiest food, but if I'm looking at food companies in terms of conglomerate, they are run incredibly well. I would stay away from Chipotle. I know Cava was all the rage initially, hasn't performed as well. So if I had to pick one out of like that entire sector, Starbucks is having tremendous issues and they even want to go to a healthier alternative. And it's like, you got to restructure the business overall. So if I had to pick one winner that if I had to put a lot of money into and didn't have to worry about, I would probably lean on Yum Brands, ticker YUM.
I think Young Brands is the clear winner. If we're talking about those choices, is it Young Brands? Is it Domino's? Is it Shake Shack?
Yeah.
Is it Chipotle? I think Young Brands for sure. From a diversity standpoint of what they offer, but also from an international standpoint.
For sure.
Bro, I just saw KFC here.
Bro, them KFCs popping up everywhere.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, there's KFCs everywhere.
All the KFC Pizza Hut combination. Yeah.
Bro, we in Kenya, there's a KFC. Yeah. It's like that level of international expansion is just incredible. Young Brands would definitely be my number one. I think Kava is a sleeper. As we go toward healthier lifestyle choices. Yeah. I got a text message out to Jess about coconut water. Mm-hmm. And how, people are really going toward that movement of healthier alternatives. And Kava kind of fits in that Mediterranean healthier alternative. Their debt structure is really good. I was big on Kava maybe 2.5 years ago, had a huge pullback. And that's how sometimes geopolitical events and policies can change, right? Like you cut jobs in a site like DC or a city like DC, mm-hmm. and a lot of employees are no longer going to work. What happens to fast casual restaurants in that region? And so we saw a pullback there. Yeah, they're creeping almost back up to 100, which is good to see. But I still like it. It will probably be my sleeper out of all those.
And also, keep your eyes on the relationship between McDonald's and Coca-Cola Corporation. For the first time in however many 60, 80 years, they may be reimagining what that partnership looks like. I think it may be a mistake on McDonald's because they want to go to that coconut healthier version McCafe, but it's like you've trained your audience for a long period of time to not get healthy options, and now you want to kill off one of your partners, and it's like it's interesting. What are you gonna do? Put Monster beverages in there?
No, they're gonna call Tom Brady,
bro.
And that
a good nut McDouble is crazy. The Tom Brady good nut combo.
The gig is about to be up on the coconut water too, because a lot of those coconut waters is just as bad as drinking juice. But we can talk about that on Black.
Hey, shot it.
If you're interested,
there was a study on the good nut pause? I'm asking.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
But a bunch of brands for sure. Or they got acquired and then
look at the ingredients
for the Vita.
They selling you an idea of coconut water, and it's all kinds of hydrochloric acid.
Are you a fan of coconut water?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Coconut water is better than real water
in terms of hydration.
As far as hydration, for sure. Yeah. Real coconut water.
Yeah.
Not coconut water that's just labeled coconut water and they got all types of chemicals.
The good one.
That's the other finesse. Yeah, like the repackaging of an item.
That's a fact. Oracle versus Honeywell. Which one would you select?
Go first, man.
It's a great question. If I had to lean on one, probably Honeywell, but I don't really love either. I get the Ellison allure. I get all that, right? The stock is reflectively has went back to where it should go to. I just think if you paired both of these versus other stocks, there are others that are better. So sometimes even in the versus matchup, it's not, is it this one versus this one? Are these two better than the other 10 that you could look at? But if I'm looking for a beacon of safety with less like long-term ramifications, I'm going to lean on Honeywell.
I'm going in the opposite direction.
I know you were. Yeah.
I mean, Oracle, when we think of the space that it's in, AI infrastructure.
Okay, but before you go, if Trump leaves, will you still have that same position and it's not floated up because of him and their relationship?
Yeah, I still will, because the infrastructure will still be here even if Trump isn't, because it'll have to be here, right? This is now a geopolitical thing, right? Where we have to get ahead. From an infrastructure standpoint, love it because of who they're partnered with and what the initiative is. I think the cloud compute part is the other part that we can see that there is a growth inside of the company. We talked about it very extensively, and that's continuing to grow. It's why the stock hasn't been completely obliterated.
Yeah.
Right. It pulled back from its all-time highs, obviously,
when they started to talk about CapEx spend, that nasty word, CapEx spend. Even their last reporting, I think maybe last week, that cloud compute is still pretty prominent. So that software enterprise, the cloud compute, AI infrastructure. When I think of Honeywell, core business is aerospace. Now, we just said that there isn't a number two at its core, at its root. And so, because if we're looking at growth, well, the clear winner in that space is going to be SpaceX. We can see that. And you can start talking about the Honeywells and the Rocket Labs. There's plenty of them to go around. I just think that if they're head to head and we're talking about future growth, I think the winner is Oracle.
Honeywell profit margin 22.8. Oracle profit margin is probably lower, like 26. It's on the same range. I mean, but these are both, in my opinion, like not elite companies. They're B tier companies.
Even in cloud, they're not right. It's clear, like with AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, Alibaba, and Oracle.
Yeah. So,
is this the best time to buy elite tech stocks on sale?
Yes, every month is more important than a month, and I'll talk about it in Invest Fest and Stock Club. Best months to buy. I'll give you that. In this environment in which we're in, because like in post.com crash, post Obama, we had the quantitative easing effect where the interest rates were so low that it drove the market up. We're in a different kind of quantitative easing while the returns are so high. You can't afford, because of inflation, to have your money on the side. And that's the other part that no one's really talking about, is like the capital has to be deployed because the cost of missing out is too high. Go ahead.
Because I asked the guy from BlackRock, so let me ask you, because you're an expert in when it comes to technology stocks. At one point, IBM was the king of technology. IBM's they're not a dead company.
They're not elite.
Their stock is not elite. So we're looking at Microsoft being stagnant for a long time, and all of these type of companies.
Long time.
Microsoft?
2 years.
That's not a long time.
It's not a long time.
Relative.
Well, last year was at 458.
Relatively speaking.
I'm saying last year was at 458.
Okay. 2 year chart is negative. Two years ago, Microsoft was at $448. Right now it's at $400. So 2 years is less than what it was 2 years ago. Today, 2 years ago today, it was $48 higher.
But good point.
2 years ago today, it was higher than what it is now.
Okay.
While in that same time, we've seen all of these newer technology companies go hyperbolically crazy.
That's a good,
Okay.
So, at some point in time, even the greatest player of all time starts to decline. So, are we looking at a new wave? We're saying buy tech stocks. It's always a good time to buy tech stocks. Okay. Are the new class of tech stocks taking the place of the old class of tech stocks because the whole point of investing in the Mag 7 tech stocks was you get out of normal returns.
But I was never a Mag 7 investor.
Okay, just taking two tech, right?
Yeah.
Apple, Amazon, you're getting out of normal returns. The last few years, you got less than normal returns.
It depends on what price you bought.
In general. They've underperformed. They've underperformed. The major tech companies have underperformed the newer superstars in the space or emerging superstars in the space. What about that? What's the question? People are asking the question, is it time to say, okay, I'm still investing in tech, but I'm going to invest in the rookies. I'm going to invest in a 2 year, instead of investing in a 10, 15 year veteran.
I thought you was,
I want to prioritize MU. SanDisk. I want to go with the SpaceX. I want to go with the new breed because I feel like in 10 years this is going to be the new Mag 7.
Oh, okay, and they're trying to frame that already now with mangoes.
Right, they got an acronym for it.
So
right.
the answer is it's a great question, by the way. I misunderstood it at first, but I got it.
I get this every day, bro.
Yeah, rookies versus vets. You have to do what owners do. Take me out of it. Do what owners do. You have to layer your team with both. The answer isn't either or. Kudos to Fertitta and Chiati and every, you know what I mean? Anytime I got to the Rockets game, got a little chance to have a little powwow. The layering of new assets in real estate, business, equities, venture. Shout to our guy. I don't know if we wanted to mention his name, but he'll be at InvestFest. You have to layer them together like Jenga pieces. Mm-hmm. To me, I always called it a totem pole. You got a totem pole in trading and same in investing. So you may restructure, like Apple still hit an all-time high. Microsoft is lagging behind, but even for Stock Club, that deep dip that they had, like I called that, and we, like most of the people in Stock Club are up even if they got in this year based on price. So if you have a slot for 8, you need to do 4 new ones and 4 old ones. So, but you also have to know the new ones that are going to thrive in 2 years versus they were. It's a bunch of people who were supposed to be Jordan. Injuries happening. They didn't have the stick-to-itiveness, and we can see it in the CEOs. I think Microsoft and Meta have been beat up unfavorably, but I think in the long term, they'll be okay. And then, of course, new players have come in and gotten high returns. Some of these companies that have gotten high returns over a year or two, they won't get high returns next year. So you have to know which. But the answer is to do what the owner does, and you have to have both. You gotta have both.
You have to have both. I'm dealing with this every day.
Really quick, I know it depends on how much money. Like for me, if you're investing hundreds of thousands of millions into the market, you have to lean on a side of conservatism versus if you're starting off trying to get to your first 100. If you're trying to get to your first 100, put all the money on the rookies. But if you have a lot more money to lose, you're going to have, because I've also gotten them calls where it's like, yo, I bet on this, or I got on this 2 times levered this, and now I'm down $3.5 million. Why the hell you do that? Why I wanted to take this from 3 to 6 or 3 to 8.
It's moving different.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful.
Yeah, it's tough, man. You have to do both. I think the most important thing is build a foundation. Mm-hmm. And because I just got a text, I'll leave them anonymous. They're like, yo, sure, I just sold NVIDIA. And I'm like, all right, I understand it. They're looking at companies like Micron. They're looking at a SanDisk. They're even looking like at an ARM recently, and they're saying those companies are moving faster. They're not $1 trillion companies yet. Micron is, SanDisk isn't, ARM isn't, but they have the potential to get there. And so that point is fair. I get that point, and I understand people want to have growth, but you should also want to have your foundation, because at some point, if you look at NVIDIA and you look at a Microsoft or a Meta, the reason that they have pulled back is for the same thing. Because they're saying you are spending for a build out that we haven't been able to put a return on yet.
But then they believe the numbers of SpaceX.
Here's the part. The companies that they're spending with are the rookies that you're buying.
Yes.
So the reason that Micron's running is because Jensen said in 2022, look, we're going to need memory.
It's a Jalen Brunson thing. I'm going to give up some of my capital.
The reason that Caterpillar runs is because we got to figure out we need energy. The reason that GEV runs, hey, we got energy for these data centers. And so at some point, right, and we're not here yet, the revenue that they spent with those companies will slow down. And the profitability of the companies that spent
will
start to contract and start to appreciate again via Microsoft, Meta, NVIDIA, and it's tough to even say contract because yes, at last year it was at $100 and today it's sitting at $210 or $212, and we saw it get to $237 this year. But the same theme that brought them down, eventually, because these are again multi-trillion-dollar companies, even Google, Amazon, same thing, right? It's to spend, it's to spend, it's to spend. The only one that hasn't had loss attributed to CapEx spend is Apple. And that's because we really don't know.
They're underinvested.
We don't even know what the AI plan is for them. But yes, have a mixture. Just be mindful that the way that these companies are moving, right? Like SanDisk, that was November, right here on Market Mondays. It was $197. It was at $2,100. Right? Like, that rookie is Apple.
can it get to $1 trillion? Well, for it to get to trillion, it'd have to trade at nearly $6,000 a share.
It's going to triple from here. And you're catching the rookie. You got to catch the rookies before they're hot.
Yeah, you're not in the finals. Like, don't buy in the finals.
You can't buy Dylan Harper in the final. Renegotiation is different.
In the words of you, Ian, listen the first time. Yep. When it was 200, and I said it on, go do it then. Yep. At 2,100, you're still thinking, should I?
It's too late.
The rookies are going to be great. Now, some rookies don't pan out to have great careers. Hopefully these do. We're investing in a lot of them. But just know that those vets are the foundation that make this thing go. If they don't spend, then those companies don't generate the same amount.
And
they need the vets.
Yep. And once again, the ETFs is the all-stars, so you don't have to spend all of this time belaboring if you're not listening. But Rashad, that's a great question. That's a great question.
Yeah, I thought you brought up a good point when you talked about, like, it depends on your circumstance of how much money you have with, because the risk, there's two ways to look at risk. You look at risk from a standpoint of what am I willing to risk to make money? Like, okay, I'm willing to just risk it all to get, 5x return or 10x return, or, I'm willing, my risk, that's what they always ask you. What's your risk appetite? My risk appetite is very aggressive. My risk appetite is moderate. My risk appetite is conservative. Then based off of that, that's going to determine how you invest.
Yeah.
The question that nobody ever thinks about is the flip side of that. What is your risk appetite what's your risk appetite on going up? Right? What's your risk appetite of you have money and losing it?
And destruction. Yeah.
What's your risk appetite for destruction? Not appreciation. Not appreciation at all. You're not even worrying about appreciation. You're worrying about destruction.
Because everybody say 20%. Bro, it's a different feeling when you wake up and that account say negative 390, negative 500.
Look,
it's different.
I show Shotty things that I'm sure people would pass out over. You know what I'm doing? I'm riding a camel. I'm getting a pedicure.
Facts.
Yeah. Right? Like, bro, it goes back to last week's episode. Experience will teach you. Hey, we don't have to overreact. We've been there. We've
seen. We know the ebbs and flows. So, but for anyone who's new, you have to mix we just saw it with the Spurs. You got great rookies, no vets to balance. New York had a combination veteran coach, veteran players. You got some young players. You need combination of both. More constructive.
Bismack Biombo's gonna come looking for you for saying that.
And how do you know that? Go to ianinvest.com if you want to know the prices
of what to get in,
when to buy.
Yep.
Because ultimately that determines your risk tolerance is if you buy at a good price. Because it all comes down to where you purchase it at. Because a 20% drop to somebody that's up 80% is not really that big of a deal. A 20% drop to somebody that's up 1% is life shattering.
Yeah. So
it's all relative. It's all relative.
And if you over 2 or 3 years and you up 400 or 500%, a 10% drop, but also too, if you're buying at a lower cost basis than everyone else on earth, those dips don't hurt. Especially if you're being told, hey, like yes in chat, if for Stock Club, if I told you when that Microsoft drop was coming, I called it 3 months before it happened. Now you got a chance to rebalance, repurchase, buy bigger order blocks. It price that you pay matters a lot in everything. I think all the profit is made on the entry.
No, 100%. Stocks is the same thing as real estate.
Yep.
If you know anything about real estate, any real estate investor will tell you the profit is made when you purchase the property. That's when the profit is made.
Yeah.
You make your profit in real estate when you purchase a property, meaning if you buy a property at the right price, you're already buying it undervalued. So regardless of what happens in the real estate market, your profit is already built in. Your profit has to be built in. If that's true in real estate, it's the same thing in stocks.
Yep.
The profit is built in already when you buy it at the right price. So you buy Bitcoin at 20,000, no matter what happens, it's down at 60,000, you're still up 40,000. So go to ianinvest.com because that's important. Profitability is determined at inception.
Yep. Where you buy? People thought Lily was dead, and then hey, buy here.
Profitability.
They about to announce something that's going to be crazy.
Ooh, boy!
Inception. Yeah, I got a call. They about to.
The acquisition trail is great, and like I said, if they get the white labeling and make The peptides mainstream, like how
they about to do something.
Shout to Steph.
Okay, let's bring up our guest, shall we? All right, so we need a special segment before we end the show. We got the young world. So when we, we've been speaking at a lot of high schools recently, and recently we had the honor of actually going to Bronx Health and Science High School.
Yeah, Bronx Health Sciences.
And that was special for us because that school, they have our curriculum. So they went through the curriculum, but then they kind of had like a whole thing of not a pitch competition, but you say your business, then they had to come up with a business idea in groups, and we were there to give them feedback in real time. It was like a whole lesson plan on entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's a big moment for a couple of reasons. Obviously, education for me started in the Bronx, so to have Bronx students actually have the curriculum, go through the curriculum for a year, and then have a presentation at the end on based on what they learned throughout the course of their school year was important. Last year they did presentations. They were incredible. Some of them had the opportunity to connect with us offline. And we came back this year, and to watch the growth over a year of them having the curriculum, having it for the second year has been absolutely incredible. And we're fortunate to have two of those students here with us. Now, it was probably about 35 students. This is just two of them.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody was great, but these two definitely stood out amongst everybody, and they're entrepreneurs. They're both entrepreneurs. They'll tell their stories.
Okay.
So, Market Mondays is a show that we've highlighted entrepreneurs for so long that we wanted to, give a highlight to the young world, to young entrepreneurs, and these two students really caught our attention. So we're gonna talk to both of them. First, we'll start with Godfrey and Reba are their names, and first we'll start with Godfrey.
Godfred.
Sorry, I just interviewed another gentleman named Godfrey.
Nah, it's okay. But yeah, my name is Godfred, and I'm a student of Bronx Health Science, and very excited to be on the show.
Welcome to the show.
So,
my name is Reba.
Go ahead, Reba. You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. My name is Reba, and I attend Bronx Health Science High School, and I'm also very excited to be on here.
So, Godfrey, we'll start with you. So, tell the people, just like I want you with the same confidence, same energy when we was at your school, right? Tell the people what happened in your life. You went to InvestFest, it changed your life, and from there, you have an idea, and you're working on starting a business. So, tell that same exact story.
And you know what? Tell them your age too, because I want them to understand how
I love this
mature and how developed these thoughts are you're having and the business that you're creating are.
All right. So I'm 15 to start off, and this all basically kind of started. This whole entrepreneurship thing started last year, when I was introduced to our Future Ready class in 9th grade. And then we have somebody from Aim High, Mr. Sherman. He had came in, and then he was talking to us about like entrepreneurship and how it could actually help you about stocks, investments, and all those stuff. So then I remember after a class, I went to get his email, and then we just started emailing back and forth. So then I got his number, and then he got me involved in like community events and stuff like that. And then around that time too, there was a project kind of like the one that we just did, and then so I participated in that, and then that's when I met Troy and Richard for the first time. And then that's when I met them, Troy and Richard, for the first time. And then after that, I was talking to Mr. Sherman, and he had told me that I could come on a trip to InvestFest. It's like he told me that was a gathering where I could like gain a lot of connections and like find out what I really want to do. So then I was like, oh, okay, it was exciting. So then I agreed. And then when I got there, the first day it was calm. I attended the pitch competition. I was like, oh, this is a different level. I was like, nah. I didn't know like it was like a new world to me, basically. So then, after that, the second day too went by. But at the end of that second day, we had a meeting with a real estate agent and also a couple other youth. And then from then, I spoke to the youth, and then they told me about how they created apps using AI and stuff like that. So then I was like, I was interested. So then I took their contact, and I also met peers on that second day. And I had told them about an idea after learning about the apps and stuff. I told him about the idea, so I got his number, although I lost it like a couple months ago, but I still have his Instagram, so we kept in touch after that time. And then, when I got back, when I got back from InvestFest, I kept contacting like all the connections that I had made at InvestFest. So then I was able to find out what AI that the youth were using to like make ads and stuff like that. And then using the ideas that I had originally, I was able to create, 3 functional apps. But one of them was an idea that didn't really work out in the current market. Like, it's not scalable. So then I scratched it off the market. But now we have 2 apps that I'm trying to scale up right now and see what I could do.
That's incredible.
I want you to listen to the language that he's using, and Reba, we'll get to you in a second, but listen to the language. I looked at the scale of it and realized it wasn't going to scale in this market, which means that he's taking market analysis. But you had something very functional, which is why I thought it was super important to talk to you. I said last year, I'm going to see you at InvestFest, and then I actually ran into you. But we were running around so crazy that I'm glad that we even got to connect. Then I gave you my phone number because the app that you've worked on now, you didn't have to try to figure out, hey, I want to create that. You looked at the needs that were happening in your environment. Talk to us a little bit about the app that you have developed now and how it helps your current school environment.
All right, man. So I'm going to start off with I feel like the app that has the most potential, which is the Onboard app, and that's the one that I think you were most interested in. It's basically, I got the idea. I don't know if y'all heard, there was a takeover at Bay Plaza, a couple months ago, and then I was at home, and then I looked at the news. I was just thinking. The next day, I was working on my other app, which I scratched, and then I was like, oh wait, if the kids actually have something to do instead of just staying home and it's 70 degrees.
Let me stop you. So for people that don't know, Bay Plaza, that's a shopping mall in the Bronx. So when you say a takeover, a bunch of kids went there, and it was
mayhem,
they got crazy.
Pandemonium,
a little pandemonium.
Yeah, a little crazy. All right, so finish. So just for context, people that don't know what you're talking about. So all right. So what happened? You thought about if kids had something to do.
Yeah, if they had something to do, if they had something to do instead of just staying home, and they actually had a way to plan it, then it wouldn't be a takeover, acting crazy at the mall and stuff like that. So then I decided to create the app, which put in your input on what you want to do for the day. Let's say you want to be outdoors, or you want to go to you want to do an indoor activity, stuff like that, or you want to go get food somewhere nice. You put it in, you put how much money you want to spend, and then using that information, it generates you places you could go visit and stuff like that. And I feel like it's more scalable because let's say you're moving into a new area, you don't know where anything is. Most people are gonna be more inclined to use the app instead of having to search on Google for hours before you can plan a single day. It's more efficient and it saves you time, and time is money.
I love it. I love it.
Ian, you got any questions?
For both of you, what were the biggest lessons that you learned at InvestFest? And then once you got back home, did you feel more confident seeing that there weren't as many kids there your age? Or did you feel like you had a leg up by being there?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna answer. But I wouldn't say I felt more confident because I went to the pitch, and then I saw people are 17, 18. At that time I was 14. So I wouldn't say I felt more confident. I would say it kind of drove me to want to do better, to accomplish more before I reached that
I love
certain
it.
age. Like, it's like more inspiration wise. It's like inspiration for me to do better, mostly. And what was the other question?
What was the biggest lesson that you learned at InvestFest?
That like I said, time is money, and like the more time you waste trying to figure out like something that you're not supposed to figure out right now, the more.
So all right, so Godfred, I want you to talk about the app that we actually saw when we was at your school, because that to me, that was something that I really liked a lot. Like, explain that app.
So that one is a mental health based app, and it's supposed to like it's called Moon Map, and it's supposed to help you like identify the emotions you're feeling. Cause I feel like most teenagers my age, and personally me, like, let's say you're growing up, you don't really like, some people like, especially I'm gonna use myself for an instance, cause I went through that. Like, I don't really want to talk to certain adults because I feel like I don't really trust certain adults. So then I didn't really know how to express my feelings or like how to like get it out. So then, like after I built my second app, I was like thinking on an idea to build another app, and then the the project came up, and I was like, I wanted to do something with mental health, and Mr. R also was like, he encouraged me to do something with mental health because it's also like important. So then I decided to build the app based on like how I felt coming into high school, because I felt like I didn't really know how to express my emotions until recently. So then if I could help other people get through that, then it will be like better. It will help them be better. It will help them be emotionally stable and better when like they walk into like high school. They'll have confidence that they could like handle.
Yeah, I thought that was great because it's pretty much like it's like it's help as far as therapy, almost kind of help.
Absolutely.
Like you say, okay, this is how I'm feeling, and then it gives you like some recommendations on things to do and people who you should talk to, activities.
Yep.
Yeah, like so like you said, a lot of time people feel intimidated. They don't have an adult to speak to, or they don't know how to talk to an adult, and everybody's talking to their phone right now. These kids is on their phone more than anything. So I thought that was brilliant to actually have, that companion on your phone where you can actually confide, feel a safe space, talking about, things that, you might be going through mentally, and try to help, because there's a lot of kids that are struggling from, depression and a variety of other things. They don't have anybody to talk
Anxiety.
to.
Yeah, I agree, Shadi. When one of the things after Godfred did the presentation, I walked over to him. I said, your addressable market, you're sitting inside of it. And I said, it's schools, especially if you're a guidance counselor, you're a social worker. Every office that is of services has the same picture of how do you feel today. And a lot of times kids don't want to express it, but having that app works. It's super, super helpful because it lets them use a device or be functional with a device that they're already familiar with. So I know guidance counselors, psychologists now have tablets inside their offices. I think it's a great thing. Godfrey, I want you to pass the mic to the superstar sitting next to you, because we were blown away. As we were watching the presentations, a lot of the young adults came up in groups, and then at the end there was this one solo person who was like so confident, had great ideas. Reba, I want you to tell them about your business and the difference in presenting by yourself as opposed to being in a group and having to work with others.
Well, starting off, my whole business idea started from my personal story. So growing up, I was a Muslim, which meant I had certain regulations and orders I had to follow. And I really liked getting my nails done, like self-maintenance. I just liked those type of things, but my parents weren't always on board with it. Every time I would ask to go get my nails done, they would be like, you don't need to do that. So around, like, I don't even know, as young as like 4th or 5th grade, I would just play around with whatever I had at home, whether it was like baking soda or whatever. I would try to make amends with whatever I had. And eventually I had learned how to do my own nails, and that was an advantage for me. I thought, okay, like I'm saving my money. But the more I had thought about it, I was like, this is also an opportunity for me to make money. So the beginning of freshman year, what had happened is I came to high school and I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of new people. It's different here. I saw people, like, I wasn't the only girl who knew how to do nails. There were other people, and that's where the competition kind of started. I was like, oh, I gotta step up my game. Like, if they can do it, why wouldn't I be able to do it? So I began to start, asking my friends, could I do your nails for fun? And I kept on working on it, and I was able to make a business for myself, Cause by Reba. That's what I go by on my social media. And I started to gain a lot of clients. I got involved, engaged, and that brings me to the business that I proposed at the presentation. And it's Pure Cuticles, a beauty oil I decided to, work on. And this beauty oil itself is to help with the growth of nails or just the overall health of nails, because I'd seen that a lot of my clients come to me asking, like, my nails are breaking, I need something that can help them from chipping, I don't want to go on a nail break. So I was like, what's better than a nail oil? You can keep your nails natural, you don't have to spend multiple amount of money every 2-3 weeks just trying to keep up with the self-maintenance. Instead, you could have this nail oil, you don't have to spend as much money, you don't have to worry about your job. A lot of nurses or construction workers can't get their nails done. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to have a little fun and have self-maintenance while also staying on a budget and being able to follow the rules that you have to follow.
You know what's amazing about this? When I was in high school, I didn't have your mind to sell anything. I was just trying to buy Tupac CDs, that's a rapper, and Wu-Tang CDs back in the day. So I think this is absolutely amazing. How did you decide the pricing for the nail oil? And also, are you able to sell it in school, or are you selling out of school? Take me through your sales process.
Okay, so sorry, could you repeat the first question?
The first one, what's the price for the nail oil? And then can you walk us through how you get sales from it?
As I was doing this project, obviously I had everyone telling me, go with the big numbers, and I agree. That's something I do want to work on, but I think initially getting into this, I think I'm gonna start anywhere from $10 to $15, because at the end of the day, I'm just starting it. I'm 16. I can't guarantee anything, and I feel like somewhere from there is a good range, because I know that I'm profiting more than 100% through this, and I'm fine. Even though I know I could, make more money, I'm okay with making like a minimum, like a little amount, just because I'm starting off. So I would say anywhere from $10 to $15. I just aim to make the most profit I can, like 100% profit. I'm fine with that.
Me too. I feel you.
Need to let them know who your investors are.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely did get funded by Troy, and I'm very thankful for that. And as time goes on, I am experimenting and seeing what works best, because after all, it is an oil. It's not something I can just test overnight. It takes a couple, weeks to see results, and that's what I've been working on as of right now.
Yeah. Bigger than me saying that I was an investor. It was somebody seeing a belief in a young adult and now saying, let's see where we can go with this vision. And so that's kind of the idea was, this sounds like something that's really, really beneficial, something that you can do. You've already seen that you can scale it. What would happen if you had capital? And so that was kind of the vision. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that is going to be reaching out to you to do the same.
Well, before we leave, Reba, I want you to talk about too the importance of not shying away from differences, because a lot of times people they try to hide who they are, or they feel like they have to try to fit in, and standing out is a blessing, and that's something that I think not a lot of people fully understand until it's too late. But you not being able to go to traditional nail salons from a health benefit standpoint, you could talk about that, as far as sometimes they use like pig byproducts and stuff like that. So you decided to create your own nails, and you do it in a healthy way. And like you described it to me, it was like I said, it's like a halal nail salon, which I had never heard of before. So talk about the health side, because that's something that I just realized as far as even when people wear masks, they wear masks for a reason, because there's so much chemicals in the air, and you can actually get poisoned from those products a lot of times. So talk about the health side and you leaning into being Muslim and having those guidelines and how that's actually helped you.
Yeah, so going into this, one of my main priorities was the health aspect of it. I wanted to make sure that this product, whatever it is, it has to be cruelty free. It has to align with, my morals, or at least it would be something that I would want to buy from someone else. And so I made sure to specify that I want it to be cruelty free. I don't want it to include harmful ingredients, and I don't want to lie to my customers either. As I've previously stated, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And that's why I'm so, focused on the health aspect of it. As I said, cruelty free. I don't want the manufacturing to be unethical. And also I would like for it to be vegan, because growing up Muslim, pork is not allowed. And I have many other friends who had the same problem, whether it's pork or whatever restrictions they have. I feel like I want it to be accessible to everyone. Obviously, I do have an aim towards a specific group, probably a group who would most likely buy more than other groups, but I still want it to be accessible for everyone. I don't want someone to feel like, oh, I'm not the category, or I'm not the group, the target audience for this product.
Well, we want to thank you guys for taking time. I know it's difficult to speak in front of on the cameras. I don't know if this is your first interview that you've done, guys.
Yeah.
but y'all made for it. Y'all are made for it.
Hey, as I said, we're talking about 15 and 16-year-old Ian. I'm with you, man. It definitely wasn't trying to create a product, right? It was trying to figure out how we're going to buy some sneakers or buy some CDs. So to hear the youth come up with some really scalable ideas, to be thinking of others when they're thinking about creating a business, and to be working together, because they do go to the same school, which is beautiful.
That's dope.
So I'm super proud of you. I'm sure everybody listening here is super proud of you as well.
Say your Instagram, please. Each one of you, Instagram. How can people follow you, your business? Like, say any information.
My Instagram is g.noseball, or G2B, which is Godfred 2 Blessed. Oh, yeah. I know.
For me, my business account is Claws by Reba. So Claws, KLAWS by BY, Reba, REEBA.
Thank you. And then the last thing I'll say is you guys took our curriculum. So what was the feedback? What was the feedback from the curriculum?
Honestly, it was pretty good. And then we did an end of year project where it was like we had to take a trip, but we had like a budget of around $3,000. Yeah, I did that last year because I don't take it now this year. But it was very engaging, and it was like very like cool seeing like the different, like how $3,000 could turn into a different amount of money in a different country and certain and stuff like that. So it was very interesting.
Godfred, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Reba.
I was gonna say that the chart itself, I think that it divides everything in, a reasonable amount. Like you guys made sure to put in the sharings. I think that's something a lot of people forget, because when you're thinking about money, the first thing you think about is savings, what I need to spend my money on, what I need to save, but you never really think about giving back to those who gave to you, and I think that's something I value.
Godfred, I know we saw you last year at InvestFest. I'm expecting to see you this year. He's been blowing up my phone trying to get in contact with people who can help him with his app. I promised him when I see him, I'm going to put him in position with the right people. So we're going to see you this year. Reba, I'm not sure yet. Are we planning to be in Atlanta August 7th through the 9th? What?
I talked to Mr. Sherman about Reba, so she's gonna be coming with us to invest us.
Hey,
that's
there
dope.
you have it.
That's
So
dope.
glad both of you guys are coming. But thank you, and enjoy the rest of your summer. I know school's about to end soon, so congratulations on a great school year, and enjoy your summer. And we'll see you in Atlanta.
Yeah, good luck on your finals, y'all.
And good luck on the businesses. I'm proud of y'all.
Amen.
That's incredible.
Yes. All right. So yeah, we wanted to end the show with some positivity. It's not easy to speak in front of cameras, but these guys, I think they have a bright future, and just be young, ninth grade, and it's a full circle moment. Godfred went to InvestFest last year. They both took the curriculum to come into InvestFest this year, coming up with ideas, real world solutions to problems. That's what business is about: finding a problem and coming up with a solution.
To it.
She had like I said, and actually the person that told me about the nail salon thing was my mom, because she actually she got an infection. She actually got a toe infection, and she was saying that pedicures, sometimes you get a few ways you can get infections. If the clippers are not 100% clean, if the you might have an allergic reaction to the nail polish. But like I said, you brought up a good point. I never even thought about it. I get manicures all the time. Why are they wearing masks?
Yeah, because the poison and off gas in those products.
Exactly. 100%. You only wear a mask if there's toxicity in the air. So all of those fumes, all of that nail polish and all of that, like that's fumes that obviously there's some level of toxicity in the air.
You gotta make sure to clean the basins out and
the foot tubs, when you put your foot in, like that can carry.
Even if they put the wrap around it, they still got to make sure the basin clean
that out, man.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So shout out to the real world, man. But man, we touched a lot of topics this week. Man, it's been real. We blackout 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. We back.
It's gonna be a good one.
Do remember, Earn Your Leisure, 12:00 this Thursday.
Yep.
We got the brother Carlton. We're gonna be talking about taxes, high level tax strategy, and all of that.
Get your quarterly payments in, y'all. Stop playing.
Get your ticket to InvestFest. Serena Williams will be in the building.
Yeah, I didn't say this at the beginning, man. Happy anniversary to my parents. They celebrated 55 years of marriage on Friday. So happy anniversary to them. Thank you for being an example. Thank you every day for being an example of what love, commitment, sacrifice, and dedication looks like. We appreciate it. I speak on behalf of all of my friends and obviously your sons, my brothers. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you.
Congratulations.
So
Congrats. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Shout out to whoever got him that Brunson jersey. I don't know who it was.
That's tough. I was so happy for your dad show.
100%. All right, y'all. We'll see you